Beryl is a 40-year-old swordsman running a small dojo in a very remote village. When he was young, he used to dream of becoming the world's greatest swordsman. But those days are long gone, and now he has accepted that he is just above average when it comes to his sword skills. Though he could not make a name for himself as a swordsman, Beryl has discovered that he has a talent for teaching, and he uses it to teach the students of nearby villages, keeping his family's legacy of swordsmanship alive. Many of his students have made a name for themselves in the world, and thanks to that, he feels completely satisfied with his slow life. But his parents are not. They want him to marry and give them cute grandchildren to spoil. And Beryl struggles to explain to them that he is an incel who can't pull a girl even if he wants to. One day, as they are eating lunch and the old-timers are pressuring Beryl to get a wife, someone knocks on the door. Beryl quickly goes to open the door in order to get away from his parents' nagging, but he is surprised to see his former student standing in front of him. He welcomes her inside, and Lucia informs Beryl that she has recently been promoted to the commander of Royal Knights. Beryl is impressed on learning this, and Lucia tells him that apart from her other duties as the commander, she also teaches the knights swordsmanship. She says that she recommended Beryl's name as a special instructor for the Royal Knight Order, and the Imperial family accepted her recommendation. Beryl doesn't understand what is going on, but Lucia shows him his appointment letter with the seal of the Imperial family. Beryl thinks that this is some sort of April Fool prank, but his dad reads the letter to find that he will be seriously punished if he refuses. Lucia then informs Beryl that her carriage is waiting outside, and they will reach the capital in just one day. Beryl is not sure about it yet, but his dad tells him to go to the capital and find a good wife. He even jokes that he should try dating Lucia, and while Beryl discards the idea because of the age gap, Lucia would totally let him hit. In the end, he has no choice but to accompany her. Beryl suddenly spots that Lucia still has the sword he gave to her when she graduated, and says that this ordinary sword no longer suits the commander of Royal Knights. Lucia denies that, saying that this is the only sword she will ever use, and Beryl thinks that she is saying this because she respects him a lot as her master. He, on the other hand, is pretty damn sure that he is not fit to be a special instructor. Lucia suddenly starts talking about how excited she is for Beryl. She tells him that he is already considered a legend among swordsmen because his students quickly reach the highest level wherever they went. He has been nicknamed the Backwater Swordmaster, but Lucia doesn't like the nickname too much. Beryl doesn't really care about it though, because he thinks that he is not even a decent swordsman. Forget being a swordmaster. After a few hours, they finally reach the capital city, and Lucia shows Beryl to an inn for the night. The next morning, she takes him to her knight order and introduces him as her master, who is way stronger than her. Beryl panics after this hype-building introduction, but he keeps his speech a short and humble one. After the speech, Lucia tells Beryl that he has to instruct the knights every Sunday, which is his day off in the village dojo, so it will not be too difficult for him. Just then, another female knight comes running towards them, calling Beryl master, and he recognizes her as Kuruni, one of his most hardworking students. He praises her, saying that she has become a fine knight just like she always dreamt of, and Kuruni replies that she is excited to learn from him again.
以上の経緯からなおガーデナント氏はでは先生一言お願いします。
に預かりましたベリル・ガーデナントです。色と荷が重すぎる。来ますのでどうぞよろしくお願いします。大丈夫ですかね。
お渡しした書類にありますように、先生素晴らしい挨拶でした。先生お久しぶりっす。に走ってはいけません。おはいっす。自分なんてまだまだっす。
夢が叶って何よりだ。
我々門弟が先生を盛り立てますので、また先生に教えてもらえるの。
After that, Beryl returns home, and he is surprised to find that another one of his students has come to visit him. The guy, named Randrid, gets up to greet his master, and then Beryl notices that he has brought his wife and baby with him too. Beryl's father suddenly tells him that he is no longer needed in this village and asks him to settle in the capital to do his job full-time and, more importantly, to find a wife. Beryl is utterly dumbfounded by this, but Randrid soon explains the situation to him. After having a baby, he and his wife decided to move to a peaceful village, and he also quit his job as an adventurer even though he was at the highest rank. Beryl's father adds that this works in their favor as well, because Randrid knows their teaching style very well, and while Beryl works in the capital, he can handle the dojo here. Beryl realizes that he is no match for his father's cunning wit, and he accepts to let Randrid teach at the dojo while he stays at the capital. The next day, he returns to the capital and tells the entire story to Alucia while searching for a house. Alucia suggests that he stay with her, but Beryl quickly shoots down the idea and her hopes of jumping him. To change the topic, Alucia suggests they have lunch first, and Beryl agrees. But just then, someone calls Alucia's name, insulting her for being with a man when she should be doing her duty as the Knight Commander. Beryl feels bad that Alucia is being taunted because of him, and he hides his face, but she tells him that the girl who insulted her is stupid, so they shouldn't take her words seriously. She walks away from the redhead who keeps following her angrily, and even pulls down Beryl's map to see his face. While Beryl's eyes go to her black adventure plate first, the redhead falls completely silent on seeing him. She starts calling him Master as well, but Beryl has no idea who she is. The woman tells him that it has been 20 years since they last met, and even if he doesn't remember her face, he should remember the orphan named Shurna that he took in and trained in swordsmanship. Beryl suddenly remembers about her and realizes that she has changed a lot. Shurna apologizes for not reaching to him earlier to tell him about her success, but Beryl understands that people get busy when they grow up. Shurna then asks, "What is he doing with someone like Alucia?" Alucia gets offended by this question and explains that Beryl is the special instructor of her Knight Order and she is helping him find a house. Shurna claims that she can help him more with that because she works as a broker part-time, and Beryl suddenly feels that he should not step in between the two of them. Anyway, Shurna helps him find a good place to rent, and Beryl asks her and Alucia to be on better terms with each other. The next day, Alucia leads him to the Knight Order's training ground so that he can start his duty. She tells everyone to get in line, but then her Vice Commander Henblitz steps forward and challenges Beryl to a duel so that he can see if he is strong enough to teach the Royal Knights. Alucia accepts the challenge without even consulting Beryl, and he can't go back on her word now. As he gets ready to face Henblitz, the knights start gossiping about him, saying that he doesn't look strong or skilled enough to teach them. Beryl completely agrees with them, and then Henblitz also tells him that he thinks Alucia is making a mistake because she respects her master too much, but he will correct that mistake. With that, Alucia gives the signal to start the duel, and Beryl decides to at least look cool while he gets beaten to save his student's reputation. Henblitz suddenly dashes towards him and begins swinging his sword furiously. Beryl only dodges his powerful attacks, but then he deflects his sword's direction just by a small degree, leaving Henblitz completely unguarded and hitting his chin. Beryl gets concerned about hurting him because he planned to stop. Both the fighters get back to the starting position to resume the duel, and this time, Henblitz decides to use his full power. Beryl realizes that Henblitz is faster and stronger than him, but his moves are super easy to read and deflect just by changing his direction a little bit. Henblitz gets pissed when Beryl deflects his sword, so he decides to unleash his ultimate move by spinning rapidly. However, when he lands on the ground, his sword doesn't hit anything, and Beryl is already behind him, tapping his shoulder with his sword to claim victory.
そうだね。
私はそれを正すべき立場にある。
君は間違ってない。
では始めてください。
師団の誉れは
凄まじいな。切ればすまない。
お気遣いは無用から打ち砕くのみ。
でも威力も俺よりはるかに上。
Henblitz is completely bamboozled, but he quickly admits defeat and then turns into Beryl's fan, treating him to dinner at a bar to apologize for being rude earlier. He keeps praising Beryl and asks how he dodged his spinning attack earlier, and Beryl replies that he just matched his spin and used it to his advantage. He tells Henblitz that if he had been less rigid in his approach, he would have won the duel, and the Vice Commander gets really excited to learn such fine details from him in the future. Soon after that, Beryl starts teaching the knights seriously. As he teaches two knights about using their opponent's focus on their sword to close in the distance between them, everyone stops to listen to him. Beryl feels that they are giving him unnecessary attention because this is just common sense that he got from his experience. After concluding the teaching session, Beryl takes a break, and Hen offers him a towel. Beryl remembers how intense the guy was during their first sparring match, but thanks to that, everyone respects him now. Suddenly, Kuruni comes running and offers to show Beryl around the city if he has no plans for the day. He tells her that he is free and takes up her offer. When Hen also insists that he see the city, on the other hand, Alucia is delivering her weekly report to the royal officials, who are quite curious about the performance of Special Instructor Beryl. Alucia assures them that Beryl has exceeded everyone's expectations already, and then leaves the room. She suddenly starts thinking about how she first met Beryl, when her parents moved to a nearby village and enrolled her in his dojo. Alucia was a bit shy back then, but when she saw Beryl for the first time, she thought he was a kind and trustworthy guy. The training he put her through was quite unique, because it focused on making her entire body stronger and more efficient. Though she did not get the point of the training at first, she kept on doing it, because Beryl praised her for even the slightest things she did well. By the end of the year, she could feel the difference in her abilities. One day, Beryl decided to spar with his two best students, Randrid and Alucia, to test their progress. When Alucia's chance came, she couldn't find any opening in Beryl's stance. But the moment he moved his arm slightly, she tried attacking him, only to get defeated within a split second. She was taken aback by this, but Beryl praised her, saying that she had good instincts because she found the correct time to attack him. Alucia couldn't understand what he meant back then, but soon, Beryl took his students to another school to compare their skills with the students there. Alucia found that her opponent's stance was pathetic, and it didn't take much effort for her to score the winning point against him. The rest of the students won their bouts as well, and when they were on the way back home, Alucia asked Beryl if their dojo was too strong. He just replied that she should not think about winning and losing too much, and rather focus on learning from every chance she gets. Suddenly, Alucia realized that she forgot her hairpin at the dojo and immediately ran back to get it. However, the students of that dojo were already waiting for a grudge match. They told her that she would have to fight them for real to get her hairpin back, but when Alucia refused, they decided to attack her anyway. Luckily, Beryl arrived there just in time to take the attack on his back to save his student. The jerks from the dojo tried to attack him, but Beryl quickly took the sword of their leader and pushed the others back before picking up Alucia's hairpin. This frustrated them, and he took his friend's sword to attack Beryl while he was bending down. But just then, his master came there and stopped him. The jerk tried telling his teacher that Beryl's students humiliated them earlier, so they were just getting even. But the wise man told him to shut the hell up. He told his students that they lost because they are not skilled enough, and no matter how many of them gather, they won't be able to beat Beryl. The man then kneeled down, apologizing on behalf of his students, but Beryl told him that it was no big deal.
寸止めなんかで勝った気になってんじゃねえ。
お断りします。
取れ。文句はねえよな。
先生。
どけ。物音がするので戻ってみたら見てわからんのかバカ者。でも舐められたままじゃそれだけのことだ。
まあまあ。
どうかお許しいただきたい。
With that, he and Alucia headed back home, and she kept staring at the hairpin the entire time. She apologized to Beryl since he got hurt because of her, but he told her that it was nothing. He said that he should have gone with her from the start to avoid the situation, but it was all good since she didn't get hurt, and Alucia suddenly started crying on hearing this. Soon after that, Beryl and Alucia had another sparring match, and this time, she used his technique against him and won a point. Both of them were surprised by this, but Beryl accepted that he could not teach Alucia anything more now. He gave her a real sword as her graduation gift, and even though Alucia did not want to leave him, she accepted his decision. After leaving Beryl's dojo, she immediately went to the capital city to prove to the world that her master's sword skills were the best. She took the exam to join the Knight Order and defeated her opponents instantly. Even the examiners who tried to test her lost against her. Because Alucia found they were much slower than Beryl, she joined the Knight Order with full marks and then quickly made her way to the top. Throughout her journey, she realized that no one in the entire Knight Order could compare to Beryl, and she decided that she would not let him waste his life and talent in the countryside. So, when she became the commander of the Royal Knights, she recommended his name to become a special instructor and brought him to the capital. Now she feels that in the 10 years she was away from him, he has become even sharper and stronger. After coming out of her nostalgia, Alucia goes to the training hall and finds the knights practicing with each other. Hen tells her about the things Beryl taught them today, and then reports that Kuruni is taking him on a tour of the city right now. Alucia gets jealous on hearing this, because she wanted to show Beryl around the city on a date. Meanwhile, Beryl is marveling at how big the city is when he suddenly runs into a magician named Feast. She calls him master like everyone else, but Beryl doesn't even remember her. Feast acts sad that he can't remember her. And only after she shows him the graduation sword he gave her, he realizes that she used to be one of his students as well. He remarks that she has changed so much that he can't even recognize her now, but Face is not pleased with his answer. Kuruni joins the conversation and tells Beryl that Face is now a powerful wizard with the magic division now, and that shocks him because he doesn't remember her being able to use magic. Feast startles him by creating a fireball out of thin air, and Beryl is impressed because only the most talented and hardworking people can become wizards. He is a bit sad that Face has left her swordsmanship skills behind, but he is also proud of her. Just then, they hear a woman scream as a thief steals her purse. Beryl and Kuruni get ready to catch him, but Face stops them because she wants to deal with the situation herself. She draws her sword and then charges it with magic before sending a flying slash towards the thief. The magic slash ties the thief's legs together, causing him to fall to the ground. Kuruni immediately puts him under arrest. Feast then proudly tells Beryl that she uses the sword skills he taught her in the form of her unique sword magic, and he feels even more proud of her.
私はなしでもできる。すごく頑張った。私がやる。はい、おとなしくするっすよ。犯罪の取り締まりも。
いい連携だ。剣術にこんな応用が。
お礼を言うのは私の方。
The next day, Beryl wakes up early to go on a morning walk around the city, when he suddenly hears someone calling him from behind. As he turns around, he finds a girl talking to him, and he asks her if she is lost. The loli gets offended because Beryl is treating her like a kid, and then introduces herself as Lucy, the commander of the Magic Corps where Feast works. Beryl still thinks that the loli is just a girl playing games, so she creates a huge fireball to show him that she is the real deal. He finally believes her after seeing the fireball, and Lucy invites herself over to join him on the walk. She tells Beryl that Face told her a lot about him, and that made her realize how strong and skilled he was. Beryl acts humble and says that he is just a regular country bumpkin, but Lucy doesn't believe him. Instead, she leads him to an open area in the middle of the city and tells him that she is obsessed with magic and always tries to improve herself. Beryl replies that he gets her because he does the same with his swordsmanship, but he doesn't realize what Lucy is planning. She tells him that she wants to test her skills against a strong opponent, and then suddenly launches an attack in his direction. Beryl dodges the attack thanks to his quick reflexes, and then draws his sword because he realizes that Lucy is serious about fighting him. Lucy asks Beryl if he doesn't want to test how much he has grown against her. She asks if he doesn't think she is a strong enough opponent for him, and Beryl replies that he is the one who is not strong enough. Lucy tells him that they will find it out after the fight, and then combines her smaller fireballs into a huge one to yeet at him. Beryl dodges the giant fireball at the last moment, but Lucy doesn't give him a break. She keeps shooting fireballs at him, and Beryl barely manages to dodge all of them. Immediately after that, Lucy creates sturdy ice crystals and throws them at Beryl, but since they are solid, he doesn't have much trouble slashing them in half. Lucy decides to go back to shooting fireballs, and Beryl dashes towards her, aiming to knock her out quickly. He reaches dangerously close to her, but just before he can hit her, Lucy unleashes a firestorm from her body, forcing him to back away. Beryl tells her that it is cheating if she protects herself like that. But Lucy has more surprises for him. She suddenly creates some floating fireballs behind Beryl that chase after him no matter where he runs. He dodges all the attacks, almost losing his balance many times, but Lucy is impressed. She asks him if he has ever fought a wizard before, and he replies that she is the first one. Lucy stops her fire attack on hearing this and sends a giant ice block towards Beryl, who deflects it towards her instead. Lucy simply vaporizes it with fire, and using the steam as his cover, Beryl decides to land the finishing blow on her. However, Lucy was ready for that, and she electrocutes him mid-air and throws him back. She tells Beryl that he is even better than she expected, and he deserves seeing her ultimate attack. She starts gathering her magic for the ultimate attack, and as Beryl sees the space around her get distorted, he realizes that he will be done for if he gets hit by the attack. Luckily, Lucy changes her mind at the last moment and cancels the attack. Beryl nervously asks her what would happen if her ultimate attack hit him, and she says that he would be minced meat, quite literally. She then praises him, saying that he is really strong, and now she understands why Face looks up to him. Beryl replies that he was no match for her, and if she was serious about fighting, he would have been defeated and dead long ago. Lucy laughs at his humility and tells him to come by the magic division sometimes so that she can repay him for suddenly attacking him. Beryl is glad to receive that offer, but when Lucy tells him that he is going to be her guinea pig to test new attack spells on, he immediately refuses to meet with her ever again. Later that day, as Beryl returns from training the knights, he runs into Face, who is delivering magic potions to the Knight Order. She also has a bottle of expensive wine to apologize for Lucy's actions. Beryl decides to accept the bottle, and just then, Alucia comes there. Face takes her leave, and Alucia tells Beryl that she has something important to discuss with him. She tells him that Shurna recommended his name to train new adventurers before they start their careers so that they don't die in the first dungeon raid itself. Those words remind Beryl of his first dungeon raid where he got clapped by some monsters and never went back. Alucia tells him that there is no issue from the Knight Order if he wants to take any side gigs, so Beryl decides to talk with the Guildmaster first. Shurna leads him to the Guildmaster's office, but to his surprise, Lucy is also there for some business. Guildmaster Nidus greets Beryl, saying that he has high hopes for him since he trained a great adventurer like Shurna. Even Lucy recommends him for the job. And Beryl realizes that he won't find a way to refuse this job now. However, when the Guildmaster's assistant arrives there and begins questioning Beryl's qualifications, he sees a ray of hope that can save him from the job. The assistant says that even though Shurna, Alucia, and Lucy trust Beryl, the guild needs to see his skills before hiring him. He suggests that Beryl should spar against Shurna so that they can judge his skills, and Beryl realizes that he is in even deeper now. He can't refuse and goes to the training ground, and all the adventurers gather there because they have never seen Shurna deem anyone worthy enough to duel with. However, all Shurna can think of is that she is finally getting her chance to show her skills to her teacher. She remembers the time when her parents were traveling to a nearby city to sell some goods, but then a monster attacked them. Her mom pushed her into the river below so that she would survive, and it was her fortune that Beryl found her. He brought her home and helped her get better physically, but her mind was in tatters because of her parents' death. She was not interested in anything, but then she saw Beryl practicing his swings. He asked her to give it a try herself, and soon found herself getting more and more interested in swordsmanship. Beryl kept teaching her patiently, and gradually, Shurna started recovering mentally as well. Beryl noticed that she was quite agile, so he suggested that she use twin swords instead of one, and that became her style. Then one day, a well-to-do family from the city adopted her, and Shurna had to leave Beryl's house before she could even graduate. She left with tears in her eyes and decided to become an adventurer so that she could save people and use the skills Beryl taught her. Now, as she faces her teacher after 20 years, she feels nostalgic, and so does Beryl. He decides to give it his all so that his student is not disappointed in him. Just as the fight starts, Shurna leaps high in the air to attack him. Beryl blocks her initial attacks while getting pushed back, but he soon starts gaining control of the situation. He is still having trouble keeping up with her pace, but Shurna is thrilled to see that she can't land a single hit on him despite trying seriously. She is happy that she can live out her dream of fighting her teacher seriously, and Beryl is also proud of her for never neglecting her training even after she left his dojo. He realizes that she is better than him in speed, strength, and stamina, but he finds one weakness in her fighting style. As Sherna lunges to attack him again, he thrusts his sword through her arm guard and makes her drop it. Sherna tries to attack him with her other sword, but she is wide open now, and Beryl easily trips her. She falls to the ground, and Beryl points his sword at her, telling her that the fight is over.
先生の元を離れて20年。
うちの礼を覚えていてくれている。
参ります。
とんでもないスピードだ。
当たらない、当たらない。
一本かな。
ありがとうございました。
Sherna is really happy that she lost and thanks Beryl, and the crowd goes crazy on seeing such a high-level fight. Sherna tells him that, as she expected, she is not good enough to beat her teacher yet. Beryl tells her that if the fight had gone on for 10 more seconds, he would have lost. But he noticed in time that she has still not mastered her left hand yet. Just then, Lucy and others also come there, clearly impressed by Beryl's skills. The assistant apologizes for doubting his skills, and then the guildmaster asks him to start teaching the new adventurers at the earliest. Only then does Beryl realize that he should not have shown his skills because now he can't turn down the job. The next day, Beryl and Sherna lead a team of 3 newbies into a beginner-level dungeon. Despite being nervous, the newbies successfully explore the dungeon and hunt the goblins they find, and Beryl doesn't get the chance to teach them anything. He is satisfied with this. But as they are heading outside, Sherna says that it is odd that there were so few monsters inside the dungeon. Suddenly, the monster detecting device with the adventurers explodes, but they don't pay it any mind and head outside. Beryl notices the presence of a strong monster outside, but he is not quick enough to alert the newbies in time, and one of them gets attacked by a griffin. Beryl and Sherna rush outside and find that the newbie is still alive despite his injuries. But the more worrisome news is that they are facing an extremely dangerous S-rank monster. Beryl curses his luck for bringing such a powerful monster here on the first day of his job. He asks Sherna if she has any potions, and she affirms. Beryl is glad to hear that, and he thinks that while Sherna holds the monster back, he can treat the injured newbie. He stretches his hand towards her, asking for the potion. But Sherna just thinks that he is asking her to tag him. So she does just that, and tells Beryl that she agrees with him, and it will be better if a master like him fights the monster. She immediately runs away to save the boy, and Beryl is bewildered. However, he doesn't have any time to clear the confusion because the griffin attacks him, and he quickly dodges it. Beryl takes his stance, realizing that he has got no other choice but to fight. The monster keeps attacking him with its claws, and Beryl keeps getting pushed back little by little as he tries to parry its strikes. He suddenly finds an opening and strikes the monster's leg, but it is too hard for his sword to cut, and he realizes that he will be dead meat if even one attack hits him. The monster keeps pushing him back, and then Beryl gets distracted as he sees Sherna carrying the injured boy into the cave. The monster hits him, tossing him away and injuring his arm. Beryl decides to change his strategy and charges head-on towards the griffin, but it breathes a fireball that narrowly misses him. Next, Beryl decides to approach the monster from the side, but it turns around and uses its tail as a heavy whip to push him back. However, Beryl powers through and cuts the monster's tail, making it really angry. The monster breathes another fireball at him, and right after that, it tackles him with full strength, dragging him through the forest. Beryl somehow climbs on the griffin's back, but then it suddenly takes to the skies, shattering the sound barrier as it tries to throw him off its back. Beryl holds on tightly, and in the end, the monster brings him back to the starting point. But this time, it doesn't hold back its powers. The griffin uses domain expansion and turns the ground under it to lava, forcing Beryl to step back. However, the griffin's powers extend into the cave where the newbie adventurers are taking shelter, and they find themselves playing a very high-stakes game of the floor is lava. As Beryl hears one girl screaming, he realizes that he can't wait any longer. he runs on the lava, attacking the griffin from different directions to confuse it. The griffin starts spamming fireballs at him, but Beryl uses the explosion to propel himself forward. Using the extra momentum, he manages to pierce the griffin's eye, but his sword breaks in the process. Beryl fears that this is the end when suddenly he sees Shurna jumping off a cliff and heading straight towards the griffin. She pins the monster down and without wasting a moment, cuts off its head.
手間取ってる暇はないな。
She thanks Beryl for helping her take down an S-rank monster, and he tells her that he didn't even do anything. Beryl then asks about the injured noob's condition, and Shurna tells him that he will pull through. After that, Shurna and Beryl go to the guild headquarters and show the proof of killing an S-rank monster to the guild master. He can't believe that they killed such a dangerous monster while protecting 3 newbies. And Shurna says that they all survived only because Beryl was there. He doesn't even get to tell the guildmaster that Shurna dealt the killing blow because the guildmaster begins thanking him and asks how can he repay him for it. He offers to make him a high-ranking adventurer right away, but Beryl instantly refuses that offer because he is not interested in risking his life each day. After that, the guild sends a team to recover the griffin's body, and Shurna thanks Beryl for what he did today. He refuses to take too much credit and says that they won without any casualty because she made all the right decisions. The next day, Beryl asks for Kuruni's help because he needs to find a skilled blacksmith to repair his sword. Alucia tags along purely out of jealousy, but tells Beryl that she will help him choose a new and better sword that fits his strength and skills. Once they reach the blacksmith shop, Beryl immediately recognizes the blacksmith as Boulder, one of his former students. Even Boulder is surprised to see his teacher after such a long time. And Alucia is surprised that even people who can be classified as uncles have learned from Beryl. Beryl explains that Boulder was his only student who was older than him. He wanted to make better swords, so he joined his dojo to learn how a swordsman actually uses them. Beryl tells him that he is glad to see that he has opened his dream shop, and Boulder is grateful to him for that. He then asks everyone their business, and Kuruni asks him to sharpen her short sword. Boulder takes one look at it and tells her that it is too damaged to be repaired and she should just get a new one instead. Alucia is surprised by this because Kuruni doesn't use her short sword roughly. Beryl asks her how the sword feels in her hand, and she replies that it feels nice and light. Both Beryl and Boulder immediately understand that a short sword is not the right pick for Kuruni, because she is not feeling the weight of her weapon. He suggests her to try a bigger sword, and Kuruni likes it, so she decides to buy it. After that, Beryl starts looking for a sword that fits him, and Alucia suggests that he get one custom made for him. He tells her that he doesn't want anything so fancy, and just then Shurna comes to the shop as well. As usual, she and Alucia start throwing shade at each other, and Beryl tries to stop them. He asks Shurna what is she doing here, and she immediately places the leg of the griffin they hunted the other day on the table, telling Boulder to make a long sword for Beryl out of it. Beryl tells her that he can't accept it because she was the one who defeated the monster, but Shurna refuses to hear any logic. She tells him that he lost his sword because of her, so she must give him a new one. Boulder also supports her, and in the end, Beryl has to accept the sword. Boulder is pretty thrilled about making a sword out of a S-rank monster's part, and he asks Beryl for a week so he can do his best. Beryl has no problem with that, and he says that it is time to leave the shop. But then Kuruni asks him to train her to use the big sword properly. He takes her to the training grounds and teaches her how to swing the sword without getting overwhelmed by its weight, and then heads to the local bar to have a drink. He leaves the bar in a good mood. But as he is crossing the street, a thief tries stealing his purse. Beryl quickly catches her in the act, but the thief blasts him with a fire spell to escape. She goes to the hideout of a local gang and gives them all the money she has stolen today. The gangsters are disappointed because it is less than usual, and they complain that she is slacking. but their boss knows that the girl won't do that because she has to earn her keep. The girl named Mui stays silent throughout this conversation, but then she realizes that she dropped her pendant, which has been picked up by Beryl. The next Beryl spars with Henblitz to see how much he has improved and finds that he is getting better and more crafty in using his sword. However, he is still not at the level where he can land a strike on Beryl. But he is pleased by his performance. He promises that he will keep getting better. And though Beryl is proud, he also realizes that he needs to work harder himself so that his students can become better. As the two of them talk about the training process, their attention goes to Kuruni, who is still getting used to a long sword. Beryl compliments and tells her to keep working hard, and Henblitz remarks that it was a very bold move to suddenly switch her weapons from dual blades to a longsword. Beryl replies that it is the right fit for her and will make her stronger, and Henblitz replies that he wants her to become stronger soon because they have some urgent matter at hand. Beryl inquires about it and learns that a group of thieves who call themselves the Dark Hand of Twilight have started working in the capital, and the Royal Knights are trying to investigate them with other forces. Henblitz says that once they find their hideout, they will destroy the group entirely, and Beryl agrees with the idea. He says that the Knights probably won't lose even if their numbers are equal to the thieves, but he recommends having an unfair advantage to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Henblitz thinks that Beryl is interested in helping them, and he asks him to leave the rough task to him. Beryl just wipes his sweat because he was almost roped into fighting some thieves. Suddenly, he takes out the thief girl's pendant to ask Henblitz to find its owner. But just then, Kuruni comes there and asks if he plans to gift it to Alucia. Henblitz joins her and praises Beryl's taste, but he freaks out because he doesn't know how to react to this. He then tells his two students the story of his encounter with the thief girl and how she startled him by using magic, so he had to let her go. Henblitz and Kuruni are confused by his story because using magic is a rare and valuable talent, and anyone who can do so should not need to pick pockets. Henblitz suggests that maybe the thief was using some magic accessories that she had stolen earlier. Kuruni changes the topic and asks Beryl what he wants to do with a pendant, and he replies that he wants to return it to its owner because it might be stolen too. Henblitz tells him to turn it over to the receptionist at the night order, and Beryl does that before heading home, relieved. He doesn't want to get involved in the case any further, but the death stare the girl gave him last night still bothers him. Just then, he walks past an advertisement board and begins looking for something that interests him, and suddenly, he hears a girl cussing loudly as she searches for something. Beryl asks her if she lost something, but the girl, Mui, is already pissed enough to handle being bothered by a rando on the street. She yells at him to leave her alone, but Beryl is already in her face and they both recognize each other. Mui attacks him, telling him to return her necklace, and Beryl feels awkward with everyone staring at them. He tells her that they should not attract too much attention to themselves and takes her to a quiet street where he asks her if she stole the pendant. Mui replies that it was hers, and Beryl believes her. He tells her that he gave it to the Night Order as lost property, and Mui gets anxious because now getting the pendant back won't be easy. However, Beryl has her covered, and he asks her to come with him because he can help her prove that the pendant belongs to her. Mui doesn't fully trust him, but she angrily follows him. Beryl tries to initiate small talk with her, but she is not interested at all. And when he tells her to stop doing dangerous things, she turns her face away. Beryl feels that she knows that what she is doing is wrong, and that makes him more curious about her story. Soon he gets the pendant back from the Night Order, and Mui goes feral as she tries to get it from his hands. Beryl tells her to wait, and just then Alucia arrives there. One look at Mui and she immediately thinks she is Beryl's secret child or something, but he tells her it is not the case. He goes to her office and tells her the full story. Alucia asks Beryl what should they do with the girl, but Mui knows her rights and tells her that she can't arrest her unless she catches her in the act. She then demands Beryl to return her pendant, and when he asks if she will stop picking pockets if he does that, she refuses. Alucia tells Mui that she has great potential if she can use magic at her age, and she asks her not to waste her talent like this. Beryl also encourages her to tell them if she is facing any problem because they help her, and Mui decides to open up to them. so that she can get her pendant back. She tells them that a man promised to bring her dead sister back to life if she paid him 5 million coins. And since she couldn't get that money quickly another way, she became a thief. Both Beryl and Alucia realize that she is being scammed by a bad guy, but they can't tell her the truth so directly. Alucia leaves the room for some important business first. And then Beryl notices that Mui is really hungry. He buys some bread for her. And as Mui bites into the whole freaking loaf, he tells her that he wanted to see her again after last night, and it was fate that brought them together. He assures her that he can help her and things will turn out well in the end, but Mui doesn't care about his words. Defeated, Beryl returns her pendant, and Mui tells him that she is leaving now. However, before she can go outside the room, Alucia returns with Lucy by her side. Lucy is curious to see if Mui really has any talent for magic, but the girl refuses to talk with someone who looks much younger than her. Lucy shows off her skills by setting the teacup on fire to warm it, and Mui gets scared of her. Lucy then orders her to enroll in the Magic Academy, but Mui refuses, saying that she has to earn 5 million coins quickly so that she can revive her sister. Lucy gets to business and tells her that the magic to bring back dead people doesn't exist. Mui feels her world shattering as she hears this and tries to argue, and even Beryl asks Lucy to stop, but she replies that it is better if the girl learns the truth before it is too late. Mui refuses to believe her and says that she saw the wizard use magic to bring her sister back to life temporarily. She says that as long as she keeps paying money, her sister's body will not decay, and when she deposits the full amount, the wizard will bring her back to life. Lucy is tired of explaining to the dimwit that resurrection magic is not real, so she asks her to reveal the name of the wizard so that she can confront him and learn if he is speaking the truth. Mui is reluctant to tell her anything, but Lucy convinces her to give up the wizard's name by saying that if he really can bring the dead back to life, she will pay the 5 million coins from her pocket. Mui reveals that the man calls himself Twilight, and Lucy asks her to take her to his hideout. Alucia decides to come along too because Lucy might need backup, but she refuses to take the knights with her because they attract too much attention. Instead, she wants Beryl to come with her because she knows he is worried about the girl. Mui leads the two of them to the hideout of the gang called Dark Hand of Twilight, and they are surprised to find that it is not far away from the main road. Once they reach the building, Beryl starts feeling like he should have got a real sword for the mission, but Lucy tells him that with his skills, a wooden sword will be enough. She starts walking towards the door, but Mui tells her that the gate doesn't open and they have to use the door in the back. Unfortunately, Lucy is not in the mood to take any detours, and she uses her magic to blow open the door. The thieves hiding inside are shocked to see intruders, and one of them tries to scare Lucy away, only to get sent flying by her magic. She tells the thieves that she is here to talk with their leader and not the bottom feeders, and just then she senses that he is downstairs. She decides to go and have a chat with him and leaves the thieves upstairs to Beryl. Beryl draws his wooden sword, and the thieves get offended because they think he is underestimating them. One of them curses Mui for bringing enemies to their lair and charges at her, but Beryl gets in the way and knocks him down with just one hit. As the fight begins upstairs, Lucy reaches the basement where the wizard named Twilight is sitting on top of a coffin. She confronts him about his claims to bring the dead back to life, and Twilight replies that he never imagined that the commander of the Magic Corps would come to see him personally. He immediately uses a magic accessory to create a huge chunk of ice to trap her, but Lucy immediately melts it. She remarks that Twilight has some powerful magic items, and he decides to show her that he has got more of them. He uses another bracelet to lift everything in the room up, and Lucy realizes that he used it to move the corpse and fool Mui. Twilight laughs, calling Mui a dumb brat who was so easy to trick, and Lucy shoots a fireball at him. He deflects it using magic, and then Lucy calls him a kid for using toys and thinking they make him a real wizard. Twilight gets offended by this and begins charging a fireball using his bracelet, but Lucy uses a special spell to send him flying before he can even realize it. Upstairs, Beryl knocks out the thieves without even breaking a sweat, and once he is done, Lucy returns. Beryl asks if she did her job too, and she brings Twilight, who has given up hope to even stand up against her. She slams him on the ground and asks him to tell the truth to Mui if he doesn't want to get hit by her spells again. Twilight says that resurrection magic doesn't exist as he asks Lucy to spare him. Mui is devastated on confirming the truth, and Lucy decides to leave her alone with Beryl while she contacts the Night Order to arrest the thieves. Beryl and Mui go downstairs to find the coffins empty, and Mui feels that she has nothing to live for anymore. She wonders what can she even do now, and Beryl tells her that everything will be fine, and it is the job of adults like him to help her figure it out. Soon after that, Lucy returns with the knights who arrest the thieves and take them away. Lucy tells them that Twilight didn't really seem like a boss character, so she is sure someone was controlling him, and she asks Alucia to continue the investigation. Alucia and Henblitz take the thieves away with that, and Lucy decides to take Mui's custody for the time being. However, just as all of them head home, the guy controlling Twilight comes there and uses his magic to cause him to blow up from the inside so that he doesn't talk. The man then returns to his boss, the Pope, who is the one behind the thieves. He has coffins full of dead bodies lined up in the church, and he tells his lackey that he did good by silencing Twilight because now they can perform a great miracle without anyone disturbing them. This is the end of From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman, Episode 5. Thank you so much for staying on this channel and watching our videos. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated with our latest content. See you in the next video.